Have you ever felt your entire mood shift just because of one comment? It's strange, isn't it? How one moment of rudeness can echo louder than 100 acts of kindness. But what if that negativity wasn't really about you at all? It's early morning. You're enjoying a peaceful start to your day, sipping your favorite coffee, mindlessly scrolling through your phone. The air is quiet. The moment feels light until it doesn't. Suddenly, a message catches your eye. A harsh comment, a cold remark, maybe even just a passive-aggressive reaction from someone, and in an instant, it hits you like a splash of cold water, jarring, uncomfortable, and hard to ignore. That cozy morning feeling? Gone, replaced by a creeping sense of irritation or hurt. We've all been there. Dealing with toxic people is one of those universal experiences we wish we could skip, but can't. The real question is, how do we respond? Because how we choose to handle these moments, that changes everything. Have you ever noticed how a single negative word can echo in your mind longer than a compliment? It clings to your thoughts like a stubborn stain on a favorite white shirt, the kind that no amount of scrubbing seems to fix. And yet here's the truth. You don't have to let that stain define your day. The power lies in this, seeing the negativity for what it is and choosing not to let it linger. The sting of criticism often says more about the critic than it does about you. Behind every unkind word is usually a person carrying unseen pain, inner chaos, or deep insecurity. And the great Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius understood this long before social media ever existed. In his Meditations, he wrote, "When another person blames you or hates you, go to their souls, penetrate inside and see what sort of people they are. You will realize that there is no need to be racked with anxiety that they should hold any particular opinion about you." This insight invites us to look deeper, beyond the surface of what's said, and into the soul of the person speaking. It teaches us to meet confrontation not with fear, but with curiosity and compassion. More importantly, it offers a mirror, a moment to reflect. Are you allowing someone else's negativity to define your self-worth? Have others' opinions become a shadow over your light? Now let's take that mirror and turn it inward. Let's begin this journey, not just of managing difficult people, but of strengthening your sense of self. Because the first key to reclaiming peace in the face of toxicity is self-awareness. So now, let's step into that first lesson, together. Earlier, we talked about self-awareness, the first step in not letting others define your day. Now, let's take that understanding one level deeper, because once you've recognized the negative energy thrown at you, the real question becomes, how will you respond? Sure, you could react. You could mirror their aggression, fire back a clever insult, or hold on to the bitterness. And in the moment, that might feel like a small victory, as if you've taken back control. But is it truly a win? More often than not, that kind of reaction feels hollow. Like drinking salt water when you're thirsty, it betrays who you really are, because deep down, you know you weren't made to live in reaction mode. Each time you choose to respond with intention instead of react with impulse, you're building something far more powerful than revenge. You're building a fortress within, a calm, steady inner sanctuary, not made of pride or stubborn silence, but of quiet strength and clarity. This isn't about pretending negativity doesn't exist. It's about acknowledging it, seeing it clearly for what it is, and still refusing to let it dictate your choices. That, right there, is real power. So the next time someone throws shade your way, try this. Breathe, observe, decide. Because every moment of restraint becomes a brick in the foundation of a stronger, wiser you. And now, we move into a powerful dual force that protects your peace even further: forgiveness and memory. Look up at the night sky for a moment. Notice how the stars shine. They don't fight the darkness. They simply shine through it. Think of these stars as the people who bring light to your life, those who uplift, support, and see you for who you truly are. But not every presence in your life is a star. Some are like black holes, people who seem to pull you into their chaos, drain your joy, and dim your spark. So here's the question. How do you navigate this cosmic dance of relationships without getting pulled in? Picture yourself as a spaceship, one not powered by fuel, but by courage and wisdom. Your courage, that's forgiveness. It's the energy source that helps you let go of the weight others have placed on your shoulders. It breaks the chain of resentment that keeps you orbiting past pain. Forgiveness doesn't say what happened was okay. It simply says, I'm no longer giving this power over me. And your guidance system? That's your memory, the map etched by experience. It whispers reminders of who to trust, who to avoid, and how to steer clear of recurring gravitational traps. It doesn't hold grudges. It holds lessons. When you combine these two, forgiveness to release and memory to remember, you're no longer drifting aimlessly. You're navigating your universe with intention. Toxic encounters become stars on a map, not anchors on your soul. So ask yourself, who are the stars in your life? And who are the black holes you need to steer away from? Let your forgiveness be the fuel that moves you forward. Let your memory be the compass that helps you avoid making the same mistake twice. And in this ever-turning galaxy of human connection, may you be the spaceship that moves through it all, not lost in the chaos, but dancing with grace, strength, and inner peace. Next, we'll explore how to hold on to that peace, even when life throws you into emotional storms. Let's uncover the secret behind emotional stability and how it keeps you grounded when facing the fog of toxicity. Earlier, we explored how forgiveness and memory help us rise above negativity while navigating the cosmic dance of relationships. Now let's go inward, to the very core of our emotional strength. Because once you've distanced yourself from toxic energy, the next challenge is staying centered in the middle of chaos. Picture this. You're standing in the very eye of a hurricane. All around you, the world is spinning wildly. Sharp words, passive-aggressive gestures, emotional turbulence. But right where you are, it's calm, quiet, still. That's not a fantasy. It's a mindset. This inner stillness is where your power lives. It's the pause between what happens to you and how you respond. It's the sacred space that gives you room to breathe, reflect, and choose, not from a place of instinct, but from clarity and calmness. This is what emotional stability looks like. And it begins with a powerful tool, mindfulness. Now, mindfulness may sound like a buzzword, something thrown around casually. But don't let that fool you. The real strength of mindfulness lies in what it allows you to do. Detach. It teaches you to step back, observe the chaos without being swept up in it, to acknowledge toxicity without letting it rent space in your mind. Mindfulness reminds you that, like passing clouds in the sky, this too shall move on. So the next time you're knee-deep in drama or surrounded by negativity, stop and ask yourself, is this storm mine to carry? Because here's the truth. You are the architect of your peace, and your inner world doesn't need to be shaped by every outside storm. With that calm foundation in place, let's now explore one of the most powerful tools for protecting your emotional space, setting boundaries. Imagine your life as a vast canvas. Each interaction, every conversation, every glance, every word is like a brush stroke. Some strokes are vibrant and kind, adding warmth and beauty. Others are heavy, messy, even jarring. They disrupt the painting, leaving marks that stain your mood and self-image. This is what toxic interactions can do. But you are not powerless. Let's take a lesson from the ancient Stoics. They didn't run from adversity. They trained their minds to remain unshaken by it. They knew not every opinion deserved a reaction, and not every critic deserved an audience. What if you could do the same? Setting boundaries isn't about shutting everyone out. It's about deciding which gates to open and when. It's about guarding your peace like a precious treasure, because that's exactly what it is. Think of your energy as water in a desert. Every word, every reply, every emotional response. That's a drop. Now ask yourself, would I rather give this to someone who nurtures my growth, or waste it on someone who scorches the ground I stand on? Setting boundaries means saying, this is where I draw the line. Not with anger, but with confidence. Not to hurt others, but to honor yourself. Respecting your time, your emotions, your mental clarity. That's not selfish. That's self-respect. That's wisdom in action. So today, don't just cut people out. Instead, define your garden. Mark the edges, and watch how your inner landscape begins to bloom again. Not in reaction to others, but because you chose to care for your own soil. And as we move forward, let's dive into a deeper layer of this journey, learning how to manage the energy of interactions themselves, because it's not just about who we let in, it's also about what energy we allow to stay. Let's now explore the next principle: energy intelligence. In the last part, we explored how emotional energy is like water in the desert, something too precious to waste. Now, let's go deeper, into mastering your inner space with what we call energy intelligence. Just like you wouldn't fuel your car with the wrong gasoline, you shouldn't fuel your mind with the wrong kind of energy. The fuel you choose, patience, calm, awareness, will determine your emotional performance and long-term peace. Think about it this way: every encounter, every conversation is an opportunity to decide what kind of energy you're bringing and what kind you're allowing in. When faced with someone who drains you, your first instinct might be to push back or defend yourself. But often, the most powerful response is no response at all. Choosing not to engage doesn't make you weak. It makes you wise. Responding with presence instead of panic becomes your superpower. It's what keeps your emotional engine running smoothly, even on the roughest roads. This isn't about dodging every conflict. It's about showing up with clarity. Like a warrior who fights only when necessary, you're not afraid of the battle, but you're smart enough to avoid pointless ones. That's real strength. When you harness this kind of energy intelligence, you create a space so grounded, so steady, that even the loudest chaos can't shake you. It's like being a deeply rooted tree, flexible enough to sway with the storm, but strong enough never to break. That balance of strength and grace, it disarms negativity. It confuses those who expect you to explode or break. And over time, it teaches them that your peace is not so easily shaken. So now pause for a moment and reflect. Think back to a time when someone's negativity threatened to pull you off course. How did you handle it? Did their storm cloud your sky? Or did you shine even brighter, helping both of you find calm again? Because this journey isn't about becoming cold or unaffected. It's about realizing that within you lies a deep well of wisdom and a reservoir of calm waiting to be tapped. All it takes is a breath and a choice. So from this point forward, ask yourself, how will I manage my energy? Not just to protect my peace, but to lead by example. Because the true test of inner strength isn't about hiding from the storm. It's about learning how to dance in the rain. And now, let's shift our focus from energy to direction. Because once you've mastered the art of staying calm, the next step is staying committed. It's time to talk about the power of focusing on your goals and how to keep going, even when toxic voices try to pull you off track. Previously, we spoke about energy intelligence, how to protect your inner eye, peace and dance through the storm. But even with a calm center and rooted strength, the journey doesn't end there. Because your vision, your goals, still need you to move forward. And that brings us to a critical truth. When you're focused on your path, not every detour deserves your attention. So when you encounter negativity, those snide remarks, doubtful glances, or passive-aggressive tones, what do? You smile, you nod, and you carry on, because your purpose is bigger than their projections. Your goals are not up for debate. Think of your mind as a home. Your dreams live there. Now ask yourself, would you let a rude stranger walk in, leave trash everywhere, and stay for free? Of course not. So why let someone's toxic words take up space in your thoughts without paying rent? Here's the secret the Stoics knew well. When you focus on your actions, not their opinions, on your steps, not their noise, you reclaim your power. The insults and drama, they become background static, faint, distant, powerless. This is your journey, and you're the one steering the ship. The compass? Stoicism. The map? Your goals. The engine? Your quiet, persistent discipline. So keep your eyes on the horizon. Enjoy the process. Let the distractions fade like a whisper on the wind. And now, let's talk about something that many of us overlook. Support. Because even the strongest minds sometimes need a hand to hold, or a voice of wisdom to echo what we already know inside. We all have those days when someone's presence feels like a storm rolling in. Their energy presses in on your peace, like a sudden shadow on a sunny afternoon. And no matter how hard you try to stay calm, you feel like you're sinking, caught in emotional quicksand. These moments test us, not only our patience, but our dedication to the Stoic path. But here's the thing. Seeking support in these times isn't weakness, it's wisdom. Imagine you're holding a single candle in the dark. It flickers, struggling against the weight of the night. Now imagine someone else lights theirs beside you, and then another. Suddenly, the room glows, sharing your struggles with someone who understands. Someone grounded, experienced, or simply kind can light the way forward. They don't fight your battles for you, but they remind you that you're not alone, that you have the strength, even when you momentarily forget it. Picture an elder sitting beside a campfire, offering a few simple words that shift your entire mindset. That's the kind of support we need, anchored, wise, unshakable. Sometimes we gain clarity by zooming out, like looking at a tangled road from high above and seeing the better route we missed when we were too close. That's what support can do. It gives us space to breathe, to reflect, to respond with intention. So, think back to your own challenges. When toxic people shook your ground, did you walk that path alone? Or did you invite another voice to walk with you, if only for a moment? True Stoicism isn't about isolation. It's about discernment, knowing when to seek help and who to let in. And now let's turn inward again. Because the voices around us are one thing, but the voice inside us, that's often the loudest and sometimes the harshest of all. Let's explore how to take control of negative self-talk and learn how your inner dialogue can either be your armor or your undoing. In the last section, we explored the value of reaching out and tuning in, not just to others, but to your own inner voice. Now, let's turn that lens inward even further, because the way you speak to yourself may be shaping your strength more than anything else. Think about it. When someone else's negativity crashes into your day, what do you say to yourself afterward? Do you spiral into self-doubt, asking, "Why do I always have to deal with this?" Or do you pause, take a breath, and ask instead, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger because of it?" That small shift in language is more than just semantics. It's reclaiming your power. Every toxic encounter carries a lesson. Maybe it strengthens your patience. Maybe it teaches you empathy. Or perhaps it simply reminds you to stand firm in your boundaries. Your self-talk can either be a heavy chain or a pair of wings, and learning to manage it starts with awareness. Monitor your inner conversations the way a pilot checks their instruments, attentively, regularly, and with intention. One of the greatest tools you have is detachment, not apathy, not coldness, but a conscious, calm choice of where your energy goes. Picture this. Someone throws a sharp comment your way like an arrow. If your self-worth is like a strong, impenetrable shield, that arrow bounces right off. Sure, you might still feel the pressure of the impact, but the arrow doesn't pierce. It doesn't wound. It doesn't stay. That's the quiet power of detachment. You acknowledge what's happening, but you don't absorb it. So ask yourself honestly, how often do I let someone else's bad mood become the script of my inner dialogue? How often do I give away my peace without realizing it? Taking control of your self-talk doesn't mean building a wall around your heart. It means understanding that your value doesn't fluctuate based on someone else's opinion. It means realizing your reaction, not their action, is where your power lives. Stoicism doesn't ask you to shut down your emotions. It invites you to become the guardian of your emotions, to decide which moments are worth your heartbeats. So today, take back your narrative. Reframe your questions. And when life throws arrows, raise your shield of self-worth. Now, let's go one step further. Because once you've claimed control of your inner voice, the next skill is how to handle toxic people strategically, not reactively. It's time to dive into a solution-oriented mindset rooted in the wisdom of Stoicism. In the last part, we explored the power of your inner voice, how changing the conversation within can change everything outside. Now, let's apply that same wisdom to the way we engage with others, especially in the heat of conflict. Because here's the truth. Not every wall is meant to be broken down. Sometimes, the smarter move isn't to push harder, but to pause. Feel your way around and ask, is this a path worth taking? Many conflicts are like mazes with no exit. Energy traps, dead ends. You could keep arguing, defending, trying to prove a point. But what's the reward at the end? Nothing but frustration, exhaustion, and wasted time. Recognizing these no-win situations, that's clarity, and it saves you from countless headaches. You might be surprised to realize that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Silence, when chosen with intention, can be louder than any comeback. Because when toxic people throw negativity your way, they're often hoping for a reaction. That's their fuel. That's the sign that they've gotten under your skin. But when you choose not to respond, you take the wind right out of their sails. You're not pretending the problem doesn't exist. You're simply refusing to let it own you. Your energy is precious. So ask yourself, is this a battle worth your peace? Now, here's where many people fall into a trap, trying to fix toxic behavior by arguing or talking sense into the other person. It's like trying to extinguish a fire with gasoline. Your good intentions just feed the flames. Instead, shift the approach. Use questions, not accusations. Ask reflective things like, what do you hope to achieve here? Or how do you see this helping us move forward? This subtle change can move the moment from confrontation to conversation. Will it work every time? No. And that's okay. Because your goal isn't to win every argument. Your goal is to protect your peace and your dignity. On this battlefield of human emotion, empathy becomes your shield, and patience is your sword. Trying to understand someone doesn't mean you agree with them. It doesn't mean you excuse their behavior. It just means you're strong enough to see beyond the surface, to recognize that they too might be fighting silent battles you'll never know about. Patience gives you that space to choose how you respond with wisdom, not impulse. And that's not weakness. That's power under control. So I invite you now, reflect for a moment. Think about your recent interactions with difficult people. Are there patterns? Are there arguments you've been drawn into that? maybe weren't even worth your breath? Being stoic doesn't mean being numb or indifferent. It means refusing to be ruled by emotion. It means choosing where your energy goes, because not every fight is your fight. So next time someone comes at you with conflict, ask yourself one simple question. Is this really worth my peace? Now let's sharpen your awareness even further, because sometimes the threat doesn't come from open conflict. It comes dressed in smiles and politeness. Next, we'll explore the subtle art of detecting false cordiality and how to read between the lines when someone seems friendly but feels off. In the last part, we talked about silence, restraint, and how not every extended hand deserves your energy. But what if the hand that reaches out looks friendly, yet something still feels off? That brings us to an important lesson: the art of detecting false cordiality, because not every smile is sincere, not every compliment comes without strings, and not every person who seems supportive is truly on your side. Start by observing patterns. People's true character isn't revealed in grand gestures or one-time actions. It's shown in the consistency of their behavior. Think of it like the steady rhythm of a drum, dependable, aligned, and unwavering. When someone's kindness remains the same, regardless of who's watching, that's authenticity. But if their attitude shifts like sand in the wind, if their friendliness only appears in public or when it benefits them, that's a performance, not a connection. It's like a leaf caught in a breeze, fluttering this way and that depending on who's nearby. That kind of inconsistency reveals something deeper, a mask, a role being played, not a genuine bond. In human relationships, consistency is king. It's the foundation of trust, the anchor in chaos. And learning to recognize that steadiness, or lack of it, isn't just self-protection, it's wisdom. Because when you begin to sift through the surface-level charm and notice the deeper truth, you make room for something far more powerful. Authentic relationships. You become a beacon of authenticity, a calm light in a sea of pretense. Others who value honesty will be drawn to you, and those who rely on facades, they'll fade. So the next time your gut whispers, "Something's not right," listen. Notice their tone, their eyes, their posture. Pay attention not just to what is said, but what is not. Remember, not every hand offered in friendship is worth shaking. Some come with motives, some with manipulation. Guard your peace. Stand firm in your truth, because your inner world is a fortress and it deserves protection. Stoicism reminds us, calm observation reveals more than loud reactions ever could. And with this wisdom, you're not just shielding yourself from the toxic, you're actively inviting in what's real. And if this journey has spoken to you, there's so much more waiting. Stoicism is more than a defense against toxicity. It's a path toward clarity, purpose, and peace. And if you'd like to continue that journey with us, consider joining our free newsletter. Tap the link in the description to claim your place in a community of like-minded thinkers and deepen your connection to this timeless philosophy. You've come this far. Now let's walk further, together,